So we have covered till FP tree construction, and now let's see how to go with the step 6, 7, and 8 of your FP growth tree. So now we'll be trying to construct the step 6 of your FP tree, that is conditional pattern base. So by looking into this tree, we need to construct the next table, that is conditional pattern base table. In examination point of view, guys, you need to mention about these all things step by step. If they ask you to construct an FP tree along with a frequent pattern item set. So if you want to identify the frequent pattern item sets, you need to have a clear understanding of all these steps. Okay, so from this final FP tree, I need to construct conditional pattern base table, right? So here you can see a table, and if you can see here KEMOY, that is from top to bottom. Now I am constructing my table from this tree from bottom to top approach. You can see Y is at the bottom, O, M, E, K. So these elements are taken into consideration, and according to these elements or items, the branches will be considered. For example, if I say Y, for Y, you can see Y is available 3 times in your tree. Y equal to 1, Y equal to 1, Y equal to 1. O is available 2 times. M is available 2 times. E and K only one time. That is only once. So now, if I look into the Y, I am having branches such as K, E, M, O. And if I take again Y here, that I am having K, E, O. And again if I take Y value, K, M values, right? That's what I am noting here. So if I look into Y, the first branch is KEMO. That's what I'm saying, KEMO. And here you can see KEMO column Y. This one represents the value of Y in this tree. So for this branch, the value of Y is equal to 1. That's why KEMO value is taken as 1. That is, Y value is equal to 1 for this branch. Next, if you are seeing KEO, that is the second branch of your Y, KEO, the value is equal to 1. Similarly, the Y value here is KM. Again, KM is equal to 1. That's what we have in the next step. This is how for the item set Y, we are calculating conditional pattern based frequent item sets. I hope everybody is clear with this answer. Next, I'll go for the next element O. Sorry. Yeah. If I look into O, I'm having two branches for O. That is, first branch is KEM. So KEM value will be equal to 1 because O is equal to 1 here. Next, if you look into the second value or second branch of O, I'll be having KE, but the value will be is equal to 2. If you can look into, you can see here for O, I'm having two branches, that is KEM, the value is equal to 1, and for KE, the value is equal to 2, because the value of the value of O for K is equal to 2. I hope how everybody is understanding how I am taking these values. Next, if I look into M, for M, I am having two branches again. That is KE is equal to 2 and K is equal to 1. Right? The same is repeated here. K is equal to 2 and K is equal to 1. And next, if I say only E, for E, I don't have sub branches. Only one sub branch is available, that is K is equal to 1. Right? And you can see the K value is taken as 4 here. Why? Because the value of E for this branch is equal to 4. So that's the reason K is equal to 4 is taken. And finally, you can see for item K, there are no sub branches or there are no branches. It's connected to the root element, so it doesn't have any value. So I hope everybody is clear with this table. How did we construct this table? Yes? So now we'll be going for step 7 and step 8. From step 6, we have completed a conditional pattern base. And now for this table, additionally, we'll create one more column and we'll try to identify conditional frequent pattern tree. That is your step 7, generation of conditional frequent pattern tree. Now it's very simple. From this table, I'm trying to find out the values which are meeting the support threshold value. Support threshold value is equal to 3 as we have seen the initial steps. Now I'll try to see how many times K is repeated in this complete row or complete conditional pattern base. K is repeated 3 times. So its value is equal to 3. So it is being available. Next, I look into E. E is available on 2 times. So that is not taken into consideration. Next, if I take M, M is also available 2 times. So it's not taken into consideration. O is also available 2 times. So not considered. Now I'll go for combinations. That is KE. K is also having a repetition 2 times. So again, it's not considered. KM 2 times, not considered. So whenever a particular combination or any item set meets support threshold value, then only it is kept. Okay. For example, here you can see, yeah. So KE is available 2 times, right? But the value is equal to 3. That's the reason KE is equal to 3 is kept as your frequent conditional frequent pattern tree. Again, you can see here K value is equal to 2 and 1, K equal to 3 is available. But E is not considered in the row 3, that is M, because E is available only 2 times. The value of E is equal to 2 there. It's not equal to 3. That's how step 7 will be completed. We need to identify the values which are meeting support threshold value. Now I'll go for step 8, that is frequent pattern generation. That is a combination of the support threshold value with the elements or items available here. So here K is equal to 3 along with Y. That is one combination. K comma Y is equal to 3 in the next table. Next you can see KE is available here. Next KE along with O, that is 3. Again, KO is one table, EO is other combination, again EKO is other combination. Likewise, I am trying to combine the last column with the previous items, and this is how generating the frequent patterns. So these are the frequent patterns generated, and from these frequent patterns, we need to generate the association rules. So if you want to generate association rules, you can generate in the manner like in the first column, you can see K comma Y is equal to 3. From this, because I am having 2 items here, I can generate 2 association rules. That is K implies Y and Y implies K. This is what you can see here. K implies Y and Y implies K. For example, if I look into the next row, K comma O is equal to 3. So I can generate 2 association rules. That is K implies O, O implies K. Next, E implies O, O implies E. Next, for example, here you can see the 3 combinations, that is E, K, O. I can generate 6 association rules. That is E implies KO, E comma K implies O, again K implies EO. Likewise, I can see the combination up to 6 elements. So for all these transactions, we will be generating association rules accordingly. Okay, so that's the reason, that's how we generate association rules. And if you want to understand which rules are better and which rules are not better, we need to again have confidence values also. That's how we are done with the 6, 7, 8 steps of your FP tree. Okay, next we'll be looking into advantages and disadvantages of this algorithm. As already mentioned, FP growth is faster than a priori and doesn't require any candidate generation, right? So, and also it doesn't need to scan the complete databases. So it requires only 2 passes over data set. That is to generate your tree and to generate your conditional pattern base, and finally your frequent patterns. But there are some drawbacks of FP growth. That is, it takes a lot of memory because if you want to construct FP tree, you need to have a lot of memory, and it is considered as expensive algorithm. And comparatively, that is FP growth and a priori, FP growth is considered as better approach than a priori due to many cases. That is, one is it doesn't require candidate key generation. Another thing is the process of FP growth is faster compared to your a priori. a priori is a bit slower compared to your FP growth. Okay, yeah. So that's it guys about your FP growth, and if you have any doubts you can ask me now.